While I am definitely tardy to the party, I finally managed to stumble upon Jerry Seinfeld's unique and entertaining series, Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. Facing 28 episodes and not prone to chronological viewing, I decided to pick some of my favorite guests to get a feel for the series. I dug into Aziz Ansari, Louis C.K., Patton Oswalt, Chris Rock, Larry David, Colin, Quinn, and Mario Joyner, Tina Fey, and Sarah Silverman. One thing I quickly realized is that Seinfeld is a fan of a whole lot of white, funny men, few women and blacks, and no Latinos. In addition, every coffee house or diner that I have seen in an episode seems to have an overwhelming number of white people. White people, white people, white people. But what was I expecting from the co-creator of Lily White Seinfeld? Yes, I know his buddy from way back is George Wallace. But one black man, plus two others and an Indian guy, does not a diverse lot make. Nonetheless, I was impressed by the variety of each episode, especially the unique and different cars, different coffee spots, and the funny banter. The detail and thought that goes into picking and explaining each car is inspiring, even to a person that cares little about cars in general. After watching the Seth Meyers episode and listening to Seinfeld have an orgasm over the car, I now have a hankering for driving a 1973 Porsche Carrera 2.7 RS at least once in my life. The more episodes I watch, the more I see a large puzzle that is Seinfeld to me being pieced together. Through his conversations with the comedians, he slowly drops details about his personality, life, and outlook on life. I didn't watch his TV show, but it's fun to learn more about who he is. One fascinating fact was his perspective on tipping in the Sarah Jessica Parker episode. He is not going to get caught leaving a small or average tip, i.e. 20%, because he cares about what others will say and think about him. He knows that if he leaves a 20% tip when he is worth around $800 million, according to the internet, his reputation could be facing some serious repercussions. After all, if you were worth hundreds of millions of dollars and counting, leaving a $50 to $100 tip each time you sit down for a meal in a restaurant would not even be a moth fart to your liquid assets. Way to go, Jerry. I love the story from Tina Fey and Louis C.K. about spending the day with Chris Rock in a hotel room to help him with a script, getting $5,000 for it, and a Rolex watch with the inscription, "Thanks for your help, motherfucker." Quintessential Chris Rock. It's curious to see how uninterested some of the comedians are at divulging very much about their lives, while others are an open book. Some of the episodes fall flat in the conversation department because it seems like Seinfeld can't get the guests to say much at all, which is also interesting because it makes for a less forced show. Seinfeld is almost thinking, if this particular person is not going to say much, then so be it. We'll just enjoy the ride, coffee, and food. Here's to hoping he could land Dave Chappelle or Eddie Murphy. Highly unlikely, but one can certainly dream. If you haven't yet seen this entertaining online series, then I highly recommend it, especially if you are into comedians, cars, and surprise, coffee. On a final note, why do wealthy entertainers rarely want to spend their own money on their own projects? Seinfeld didn't need Acura. He could have paid for the entire show himself. Why so stingy, Big Tipper?